All right, welcome back. And of course, in studio, we are with our guest, Pastor Chama of Mavuno Church, Karibu.
Thank you.
So you've just, of course, this is Shan.
Yes, welcome.
Hi.
Welcome, Pastor.
Thank you so much.
I'm so excited to have you here, actually.
Yes, you've watched the ad that we've just played. What are your views on it?
Let me be honest. The first time I watched it, I didn't get it.
Okay.
Then I watched it again.
Yes.
And I didn't get it. And someone sort of broke it down.
So this
for
mean,
me.
like Shan said, you're a happily married man,
You're
or how?
married, therefore you don't understand these menenos.
Maybe I'm slow.
Okay.
Or maybe I didn't expect it.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So your
you know,
defense
sometimes
mechanism was
You were
to...
waiting for it to turn into like a detergent commercial or something.
Yeah, actually, that's the thing. You know, I was wondering, so what are they going to wash this time? And they weren't washing anything.
They did look like women who would be start washing.
You like his
stuff.
honesty, don't
Yes.
you? So after you understood,
Yes.
what are your views on it now? As Pastor Chama, and of course you tell us what the church stand is.
Maybe I should talk about this as Chama first.
Okay.
I think for me, I watched it and I thought to myself, okay, this was showing in prime time. How am I going to process this with my 5-year-old? How am I going to process this with my children? Secondly, there was a face value thing that hit me, and it created some sort of an awkwardness. And I thought to myself, okay, this would be very awkward to sit down with guests.
Family, and
have
sit through the whole ad.
Yeah, and sit through the whole ad, and then, okay, as we were saying, it's difficult to pick up conversation after that. But then to think about it even more deeply, I think for me, the emotion that comes at me, and I think it's the emotion that many religious leaders will have, it's just a profound sense of sadness and discomfort. Just feeling this ad does not deal with what the real issue is.
What is the real
and
issue?
The real issue, well, it highlights the issue, but it does not deal with it. And the real issue is...
So you're saying that condom,
families...
advocating for use of condom is not dealing with the issue?
No, it is not. The reason why we are using the condom is because people are sleeping around. That's...
Okay, Shan,
people would say that's our society.
Yeah.
But as a pastor, my question to you is, I don't know, have the marriage vows changed? Because Nairobi, Kenya, it has a very interesting interpretation of marriage. It can be sometimes, it's okay until you're caught.
But is it
now it's okay as long as you use a condom. So do the marriage vows still include forsaking all others?
Forsaking all others until death do us part.
Indeed.
With no editing.
Well, maybe people want to bring death on earlier. I don't know.
But actually, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yes.
That's the thing.
There's a comment I got on social media, and someone says, issue of infidelity is not handled and being pulled off air. He says, though, was wise because during family time it was a bit uncomfortable, but he feels like Kenyans are too pretentious.
But you see...
So as much as we're 80% Christian in the nation, I guess like Shan said, Nairobians, or I think people worldwide, we still, play around with the whole idea of marriage. And
you see, marriage, I think that's the tragedy. That's the tragedy of this conversation. That's the tragedy of the conversation on HIV, which is very, it has been highlighted, but STIs are just about the same in terms of just the seriousness of it. You have STI infection is, almost at the same place as HIV infection. Now, it is very sad that our families are falling apart. It is very sad that that people are sleeping with people who are not their spouses. And because of that, what has ended up happening is that we've gotten into this conversation about HIV and AIDS. Now, this particular ad does not deal with that key issue.
Which is why are people sleeping?
Why are people sleeping? Because if we dealt with that, at least if we began to address it, then I believe that we'll be solving the problem. And we'll be solving a whole host of problems. Number one, yes, people will not be sleeping around, so they'll not get sick. People are not sleeping around, so they'll not get, children out of wedlock. But more seriously, that the social structure of the society will not fall apart. Here's something we're talking about with someone the other day, and we're saying, you see, with some of the STIs we have treatment.
We do, yeah.
With HIV we don't have treatment, but we have management. Okay?
But it still affects people's lives so
does.
dramatically.
It does. But with a society that's broken, there's no option. It all just falls apart.
So our society is broken.
Our society is breaking apart, and we need to deal with it.
So societally, we're breaking apart.
Yeah.
That's invading the family.
Yeah.
So in the family, we're breaking apart.
Yeah.
Then our health, of course, is breaking apart.
Our health is a part of that. And by the way, the economics come into this.
Yeah,
you know, some of those other things about the society come into this conversation. Now, someone told me the other day and said, well, but you see, the church doesn't really understand. And I'm not sure that is the case. I think part of the reason why the church is very concerned about this is that not only are we concerned about the number of infections, which is very high.
Very high.
Very high. But, you know, think about it. We as the church and church leaders and as church members, we are the ones that will go and be with the family or with the person that is unwell. We pray for them. And you know,
but instead,
a while back, when they're losing their lives, we were the ones who would go and bury them. That is painful for any church leader to have to do that. In addition to that, we take care of the families around them.
And that's why this needs to change. Like, we need to move from having that conversation to pre. And that's why I guess this ad came out of a need. They realized, unfortunately, as much as, like I said, the nation is 80% Christian, the story of fidelity and abstinence is clearly not working. And that's why this ad came into the picture, because they realized within the confines of marriages where HIV and AIDS is most prevalent. So what other move then can the church make?
Yeah, I
is
think
polygamy an option? What other conversation can you have? And
I think it's good to understand the numbers in perspective. What we do know and what this ad is addressing is that the largest number of new infections, about half of them are coming out of marriage situations. But overall, if you look at the general incidence of HIV, the numbers are actually going down, and that is on record. And so that's the first thing. So, and then secondly, to go on and say, you see, there is infidelity. There is infidelity, and we're not burying our heads in the sand. Again, as ministers, we know that when the families fall apart, we have to care for the people, and mostly the women. So can that be, like, there's something I brought out earlier in the ad, a woman saying how she's tired of her husband being a drunk. Can these issues be addressed in church? Talk to the men, have male mentorship, stuff like that. And here's the thing, the church is doing that. I'll give you some examples. I've been involved in counseling of not one, not two, not three, not 10, many couples, coming in and saying, look, we're living together and, it's not working. And we want to get married, but, the point at which we are in is not working. And we spend some time with them and we talk about, personal values. We talk about how to do marriage. Because no one ever teaches you how to do marriage.
No, they don't. You just see it from your parents, and sometimes that's not the best example.
That's not the best example. So we spend 10 weeks and we talk about what marriage really is. And at the end of the day, the people then begin to make a series of choices that make their marriages work.
I like that. Now, maybe that's what needs to be highlighted and by the fourth estate, probably.
I love that. You see, if here's the thing, if say what you're doing in this show, which is really good, having this conversation. And we do need to invite the other ladies. Yes, so let's wrap up. Yeah, but here's the thing. If we came in and said, we want to do marriage better, we're going to hit many, many more people than those that we say, okay, for those whom it's not working, put on a condom and that solves it.
Yes, because I understand that's what the commercial was advocating. What would you like the commercial to look like? You deal with this all the time, right?
Yeah.
So you must know more than a lot of people how to speak to the parish, how to speak to the person who could be in jeopardy, who could be vulnerable. How would you like the commercial to look?
Could you tell us so we can invite the others?
I'd actually be very radical.
I like it. Okay.
I'd be very radical, but not in the way that you're thinking. Here's the thing.
So how about?
Here's the thing. Okay. Social behavior. Social behavior change always begins and they say, begin to affirm positive behavior and you expect it.
Okay.
Okay, you expect it from the people. So what I'd do with the ad, I'd highlight marriages that are working.
Okay.
When's the last time you saw an ad about a marriage that is working?
Okay, I like that.
When's the last time you heard about HIV and AIDS conversation that actually affirms marriage and says, I'm not going to have to use this condom because my marriage is working?
I like it.
I'd want to know why it's working. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you want to know. And if it is a lady who says, my husband comes home and let me tell you, I get everything I want.
Okay. Well, you just heard that, so I hope we can get that on our screens by Pastor Chama at the Mavuno Church and have this conversation.
I had a conversation with Dr. Cherotich.
But we have to cut you short. We can have this conversation with Valentine and Kamal, who are standing by to talk to Pastor Chama as well. Stay tuned.